And we're back with another AC Milan Zone podcast. This one is strictly for the sickos only. If you're watching this, you're a football or Milan sicko. It's international break, the time that we all dislike the most. No football or no real football. Well, actually for us, nations in trouble, Italy and Sweden, both fighting for their lives to make the World Cup. Maybe it's important football, but no club football, which means we need to get creative. We've been drafting this idea for a long, long time, and today we're doing a 2000 to 2005 AC Milan players only draft. Before we get started, because I always forget to do this, if you're watching this live, but especially if you're watching this on YouTube later on, please take a second, drop a like, subscribe for the best AC Milan Zone and AC Milan content in general. I'm joined by my comrade, as always, Oscar. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me as per.
And a special guest. We could not do a proper draft, just the two of us, even though we would. We're that sick. We're joined by a longtime fan of the show and friend, Colin. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Fan of the channel here.
Colin is not a Milan fan. He is a dirty Spurs supporter. But I think he has an affinity for Milan. I would wager to say one of his favorite clubs in Italy. But maybe I'm misspeaking.
Top 20 for sure.
All right. Now, I remember this when I take all your picks. Let's set some ground rules before we go. As I said, this is not quite an all-time draft. We're drafting players from 2000 to 2005. So any player that has been featured in a Milan squad during those years.
2025.
2000 to 2025. Yes, correct. Sorry if I misspoke. This is going to be a snake draft, meaning the person that picks first in the first round will pick last in the second round, and so on. It is also a draft in which you can pick players, and the version that you get of the player is the best version at Milan. So if you were to draft, let's say, Luka Modric, you get the best version of Milan, which is obviously right now, he just played, not the Real Madrid version. So you can pull a sneaky Ronaldinho pick. I mean, obviously Ronaldinho is still very good with us, highly underrated, in fact, his time as Milan, if you ask me. But you get the best player, the best version of Ronaldinho that played for Milan at the time. Am I missing anything else, gents? I think those are the main rules.
So just a question. So for example, if I picked a player that started in the 80s and he was very good mid-90s, but then he finished his career in 2006, would that still count?
I would say yes. I would say yes.
Okay.
The rule is that he has to be featured in a squad. I would ask the two of you, because I'm handling a little too much. In fact, if there's a flag thrown and we say, hey, there's a name, and we're like, oh, what's this? If one of you can pull up their phones or their computer and just quickly double check on their transfer mark to see if that everything is above board, we can do that. Then, Colin, I must replace your photo quickly with this beautiful spinning wheel. This will decide who goes first. We still don't know for the audience, so this makes it very interesting. And then I'll spin again for who goes second, and so on. All right. I don't know if you guys are seeing if you're on Twitch, but we're spinning. This is all very legit. I don't know if I wanted this. It is me. I will go first.
Whoa!
I will go first.
Straight away.
I also don't know if I won this. As I said, I think strategy, honestly, I don't know, you pick. There's a lot of... Anyway, I'll explain my picks as I go. I'll spin again. Hopefully it's not me again for who goes second. Looks like Colin himself will go second. And Oscar goes last, which means he will go first in the second round. He will get the third and fourth pick. Thank you, Nishan, for joining the chat. Sus that I got first pick. Of course. It's all rigged. Okay, the wheel can now leave. I also just realized that I actually wasn't showing the wheel to the stream. But here it is. Rigged. You know,
that's why it was sus.
This is the wheel. You know what? This is my channel. We spin again to show the audience.
No.
Okay.
No, it's fine. For me, it's fine.
I believe you.
Okay.
I believe you.
Let me close this back up. Bring Colin back up. This is all live, ladies and gentlemen. This is as live as it can be. And we're on the clock. Let me put myself on the main screen here. You can see the little formation on the side. First pick is tough. I honestly said I didn't want this because I feel like you want, ideally, honestly, probably Oscar's position where you have the third and fourth pick and you have two back-to-backs. There's a lot of talent, a lot of Ballon d'Or winners, a lot of Champions League winners. I'm gonna pick a player that did not win the Ballon d'Or, but is arguably the best footballer in his position, definitely, but also in the broader positions. I'm gonna pick Il Capitano, Paolo Maldini. I'll slot him my left back for now, but we can rearrange the formations as we go. The reason for this pick, very obviously, is that there's a lot of talent, and I'm tempted to go forward, but we said we were gonna have balanced formations because the idea is that the audience and ourselves will vote at the end to see in an actual 11 versus 11 game who will win. And I think in the defense there's a lot of big names, of course, but he's the go for a reason. I think you can't go wrong with Paolo Maldini, so that's my pick. Up next, Colin.
Solid pick.
Sure.
You can
Yeah,
take
it's
the stage.
tough to complain about that pick. I think for me, I think goal scoring is number one for teams like this. I think the amount of strikers that Milan has, they're pretty blessed in the last 25 years, but
Very fair.
there are a few who just will score you at least 20 goals every season. So I think for my first pick, I'm going to pick Milan Shevchenko, not the Chelsea version, just the Milan version.
Yeah.
Guaranteed goals, brilliant on the ball, scores goals different ways, and I don't know, I can't see anyone better to put goals in the net than Shevchenko here.
Can't go wrong. Andriy Shevchenko. I'm very curious to see if you go, or what we all go in terms of formation. As I said, we'll have to figure those out once we have, the final picks. But Ozzy was I'm guessing they were both on your list. But are you feeling a little nervous? Did we steal some of yours?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, anyone would pick Shevchenko. I feel like Colin's statement of saying that we're blessed in the last 25 years is right. But, Shevchenko was, when he was at his best, obviously Ballon d'Or winning best. So that's a tough one for me now. But your pick, obviously Maldini, I would have probably asked you whether you were a Milan fan or not if you hadn't picked Maldini. But at the same time, I'm looking at certain other positions that are slightly thinner in terms of quality through the last 25 years. So if I could go ahead in my first of two picks now, right?
Oh yeah, he's got
In the
back-to-back
first
picks.
of my two, I've got back-to-back picks for my right back position because I think that's the weakest one out of all the positions. I'm gonna go for the player who's played since early, I think late 80s. He's also played for Roma. He's also played for a brilliant Brazil team, and it's going to be, Nishon is right in the chat here, it's going to be Cafu.
Great pick.
My thinking here is I'm looking at the other picks or the other players. Yes, you've got some other players that have won the World Cup with Italy, but their best form wasn't actually at Milan. So yeah, Cafu at right back. He played probably his best football maybe at Roma, but when he got brought in to play in that incredible mid-2000s team with Milan, he properly flourished even at that age. So very happy with
severely
that
underrated
pick.
player. We're always with this chewing gum, and he played. When we had Cafu, we had some real ballers. So that man went up and down that side 1,000 times and got the ball maybe 4, and he still made those runs. What an engine!
Yeah,
Unreal.
He was a true engine. Now the next pick is tricky because I'm looking at other parts of the pitch which are slightly worrying. But I mean, we're only 3 people. I'm gonna have to go with probably my favorite player of all time, because I'll kick myself if I don't pick him and somebody else picks him, and it's gonna be a center attacking midfielder by the name of Kaká.
Ooh, okay. Kaká off the board. I was expecting him to maybe go a little higher, but fair.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that too, but I feel kind of safe with Kaká in terms of formation because then I might play with him sort of dropping off as off the striker rather than having 2 strikers, for example. So Kaká it speaks for himself.
True, he gives you the flexibility. Yeah, I mean, can't complain. Arguably any Milan fan that's our age grew up with Kaká, so it's hard to deny. Okay, off to a good start. We're back to Colin. Colin, I'll put you on the screen. Who follows up after Andrei Shevchenko?
Yeah, I think that's a tough one. I think kind of like Oscar, I'm gonna do some critical thinking here, looking at positions that I don't, at least as a non-Milan fan, I don't have the biggest knowledge of mid 2000s or late 2000s center backs. So I think without further ado, I'm gonna go with Nesta. I think he gives solidity at the back. I think he was a beast for somewhat like 2 decades for Milan. I know he played mostly in the 90s, but he was a rock in the 2003, 2005, 2007 finals. I think center backs is a little light, so I'm gonna lock in Nesta and not concede goals either.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Nesta. Great pick. Another, I mean, maybe it's just me being a Milan fan. I keep saying, "Oh, this guy's so underrated." The first ones, maybe not, but I feel like people, when talking about truly the best center backs of all time, you don't think of Nesta, or people don't. The broader football fan doesn't think of Nesta, and I think he deserves a mention up there.
I agree,
because
I think
just unreal.
he would have been thrown into the spotlight a lot more if he hadn't gotten injured in that 2006 World Cup for Italy. I think
true, very true. Yeah,
might have been a different destiny for Italy, but that injury early
we
on
know what
would have
Materazzi
changed.
did. Yeah, no, but you're 100% right. All right, all this I haven't been able to look at my notes as much. Let me put myself back on the string because I have some picks. So I got my rock in the back, Maldini. So now there's some thoughts to be had. Back-to-back picks. It makes me think I have to kind of do like you guys and cover myself up top, and then maybe in midfield as well. There's talks about the midfield maybe being light. There are a lot of good center backs too, and I'm like, if I pair Maldini with another good center back, it's like the other two can be mid, but I got the best defense. But not yet. First pick gave me an underrated baller. I actually wanted to ask you a question about this. It's gonna be Andrea Pirlo, maestro himself. For me, in midfield. I think he can kind of give me the flexibility, kind of like Oscar did with Kaká, because obviously he played CDM at his peak, but he started his career as Cam. He can play as CMs too if you pair him with someone more physical. I like him. The question that I had while I put him in is, I saw someone talk about how Modric is so much better in a different league than Pirlo, career-wise. And look, Milan fans definitely can be a little bit salty about Pirlo because of how it all ended. But I was shocked. And maybe you can think Modric is better. We can definitely discuss about that. But Pirlo, a different league below Modric? I think that's really rough. I think people forget. And Modric has won so much, and he's doing so well on Milan now at 40. So, his flowers. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I think Modric is the better player. I think they're similar in peak abilities, I would say. The things that Pirlo can do on the ball, I'd say no one else that I've seen all time could do. There's a story of what he couldn't even use one of his knees for a while, so he just switched.
Yeah, just play left-footed.
Yeah, in the modern day, to be able to do that is absurd.
Insanity.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not a Ballon d'Or winner or hasn't won the championships as much. I mean, won a lot with Juve, but I think Modric might be the better player, but I'd put them pretty close to each other, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me, because of course Twitter it's all playing into their own biases, but everyone's like, oh yeah, no question, and I was like, yeah, Modric only also plays with one foot, but it's because he doesn't really have the other. It's nice. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. But anyway, that was just to get my a little rant off my chest. All right, I got Maldini, I got Pirlo. Maybe my Italian bias is coming in. I'm building an all-Italian team. Maybe that's the route I take for team chemistry. I'm actually going to take a pick that kind of upsets me, that I'm taking away from you, specifically from one of you, who I feel like this player belonged to, who I thought
Don't you fucking dare.
A
Don't you
certain
dare.
Swedish man on this podcast might have gone when he said my favorite player. I thought he was talking about this guy. But a lot of great forwards, but none so dominant. Perfect mix of physicality and talent. 2 different stints with Milan, many Scudettos, many stints with many different clubs. Give me Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Fernando Torres is a great shout in the chat. Just saw that now. But give me Ibra. Again, it kind of hurts me to take it away from Ozzy, from Oscar. I feel like it does belong to him as a Swedish man. But this is the madness of the
Otherwise,
draft.
you wouldn't have picked him.
This is the madness of the draft, you know? You guys say it was rigged, and for the first pick, I didn't want it, and now I got to do it.
Oh, I didn't want to go first.
All right, Piero Maldini, Ibra. Now, back
Good choices.
to Colin. Let me put you on the big screen. You got Sheva and Nesta. Who's your third pick?
I do. I'm still deciding between 2. My main thoughts are if I go center back, I might just not concede any goals. But I don't really want to go back-to-back center backs. I feel like there are enough left that I might be able to sneak one in later. And there are some midfielders that I'm looking at that I think are dogs, as some would say. And in a team like this with a lot of superstars, someone's got to do the dirty work.
I like that.
Someone's got to do the running. Someone's got to break up the play. So
he's gonna pick Rabiot, isn't he?
I hate Rabiot. I'm gonna put it out there.
You're gonna pick Bertolacci.
He ruined my career mode about 12 years ago. I never forgave him.
The sanctity of career mode, of course. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I think with my pick, before it gets taken off, I think I'm gonna pick Gattuso.
I love it. I was hoping that Gattuso would fall, because
I didn't think he would.
It's. I mean, there's a lot of stars and a lot of ballers in this team, in this possible selection. So I was hoping he would fall. And yeah, if one of your main options is you know, if you pair anyone your ballers with Gattuso, you feel safe. So I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I want my squad to win against you too.
Yeah, and as we said, this is meant to be a team that actually faces off against each other. Whenever you have Gattuso in your team, there's a reason why we won many Champions Leagues, went to finals, won many leagues, and we had the likes of Pirlo, Seedorf, Rui Costa, Kaká, but Gattuso was making the starting 11 all the time.
And he fought the Spurs assistant manager, which always helps.
Yes, little Spurs connection. We love that. All right, then for the third pick, Oscar, it is your turn. I'll put you on the big screen. You got Kaká and Cafu.
Cafu, yeah. So my thinking here is I probably need a proper striker, an all-out striker. I'm going to go for the man that was born offside, the man who scored some of the ugliest goals ever to bless our TV screens, but he scored all the time. More importantly, twice in the Champions League final that won us in 2007. It's going to be none other than Super Pippo, Filippo Inzaghi. I think while he might not have been the best tactical player, the man just knew how to score goals, a proper poacher. I shouldn't say he's underrated. I feel like he's somewhat perfectly rated. While Shevchenko and Ibrahimovic were perhaps more complete strikers, definitely Ibrahimovic. Shevchenko had the pace, but Inzaghi sometimes is overlooked in these big Milan squads that I see online. So you know what you're gonna get from Inzaghi, and that's goals.
Great pick. Again, maybe it's just me, but yeah, you're right, because you know he definitely didn't have the foot of an Ibra or a Sheva, but the goal record speaks for himself. The ability, the football IQ, scored plenty of important goals for us. For Juve, scored for Italy. A dog, kind of like Gattuso, where you're like, Milan had so much talent, and these two keep finding their way into the starting 11. How does that work? There's a reason. All right,
and I think him and Kaká have had really good chemistry as well through a number of years. So, my second pick, I'm gonna have to look at the defense or maybe midfield, like center midfield, because I'm looking at my list here, and I need some balance with Kaká. Should I play him in center midfield? That's the issue.
And your defense, you've gone with a bit of an attacking wing, obviously a fullback. So it could be both. Interesting message in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just because I love it. To be honest, I mean, I care about this draft. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just picking my favorite players. I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for Willy Wonka, Seedorf. The thighs on that man, the footballing ability. I feel like, yes, maybe not with the Modriches of the world, but whenever people speak about, the best midfielders of all time, Seedorf is criminally overlooked. The man has won, was it 5 Champions Leagues
Mm-hmm.
with 3 different teams, all the way from like the early 90s Ajax.
Yeah. Still
Then
the only
won
man
it
to
with
do that.
won it with Real Madrid, and then won it with Milan. So criminally underrated. Sometimes, I mean, I think people think he's a good footballer, but not as good as he was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Kaká and Seedorf. That's very attacking for now, but
Yeah. Very attacking,
it's
but you can find options at CDMs, like one of those
yeah,
dogs that
yes,
Colin was
Seedorf.
that could fall. And
Exactly, and then Seedorf later in his career, he played a bit further back. I'm not saying he played CDM, but when Kaká came in and drove forwards, Seedorf, I shouldn't say dropped, but he played a bit more of a holding midfielder type role. Not that he was a holding midfielder, but yeah,
mhm.
I'm happy with that pick.
Yeah, I mean, tough to argue against that midfield. All right, so let me think this through. We got Ibra, Pirlo, and Maldini. I'm feeling good about the general balance. And
Is
I have.
it not
Isn't it?
Colin's turn?
Ooh, you're very correct.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you,
this
thank
is
you,
so
thank you.
sus. It's sus from the
Thank you,
beginning.
thank you, thank you. I'm glad I didn't say a name.
Flag.
I'm glad I didn't say a name. Thank you. Oh my god, the host
I
is
would've
cooking it.
sworn.
It's all fake. Apologies, Colin. You're on the big screen. Take it away.
Yes, I'm on the clock. I do believe after my thoughts of maybe getting a center back, I think I'm going to return to that. I think there's one player who maybe wasn't at his peak at Milan, but was very, very, very good. I'm going to go with Thiago Silva. I think he was best at PSG, obviously. But he had some absolutely stellar years in a Milan side that maybe was coming down from, the early to mid 2000s of greatness, but still put in elite center back performances. And I think pairing him with Nesta, they're gonna eat at center back, and I think teams are gonna struggle to score against these guys.
That is a great pick. It kind of goes with, like Ozzy was saying, pairing Kaká with Inzaghi. These two have played together. It's Thiago Silva credits, obviously, playing alongside Nesta for much of his growth. Yeah, I mean, I've seen these two stop prime Messi and in Barcelona Champions League a couple times. So, yeah, that's a nice to do, and definitely a name that when I tried to steal your turn, I was considering.
I believe it.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right. Now,
Now it's my turn, isn't it?
Hey, stop that. All right. If I'm not mistaken, let me actually put myself on the big screen and put my team up. All right. As I was saying, Ibra, Pirlo, Maldini. I like the balance. Thiago Silva was definitely considering, and now I feel like I need a center back. I think Maldini gives me some safety because I could put him center back. But the center backs are starting to run low. So there's a few options. But I like, especially if later on maybe I get a smaller, more quick center back. Give me someone who maybe people forget played for Milan, but was an absolute beast of Milan. This guy, not much hair on his head, but a lot of muscle. A lot of muscle on his body.
No.
Let me go for the Dutch beast that is Jaap Stam.
God.
I was 50-50 on Stam and Silva on that pick there.
Yes.
Yeah, this draft is making me pull out my hair, and also hate you, Stefano.
Is Stam double A? Help me out.
No, it's just Stam.
There's Stam. Okay, thank you.
It's like Ed Stam, just without the ED.
Ooh, don't dox yourself. Careful. Live on Twitch. Millions of viewers.
Sure.
Let me put you back on the split. So, I mean, I'm very happy with that. Gives me some muscle, especially because I don't know how my midfield will turn out. Pirlo definitely did well covering spaces and interception, but doesn't necessarily bring the physicality. And then actually put myself back on the screen because it is back-to-back picks. See, now that I'm happy with the defense. I could go there again and set it. There is some strikers that are interesting that you could pair with Ibra. Ooh, options. Or of course, you go in the midfield. Someone who you could pair. Sorry, I'm not stretching this out. I'm really thinking hard about this.
It's not like we've had 10 months for this.
This is true. But you guys get to think between your picks. You know, I'm trying to switch screens and everything. It gets hard. It gets hard all the time. You have no idea. I feel like we've gotten to the point where all of them are like, okay, this guy's a sure thing. Everyone understand that now. I feel like I'm gonna get roasted. This is where you start maybe reaching a little bit. But maybe that's why you should go up front. You know what?
We don't.
I'm panicking. Okay, no, I've made my selection.
Which is
this guy, severely underrated, and I think this is why I think people might clown. Severely underrated.
The bias is definitely showing through with everyone like Seedorf and Cafu and whoever else you're picking.
Was once what Lamine Yamal is now.
Oh,
he plays up front.
Yes.
And he didn't play much long for Milan because he was plagued with injuries. But I would argue that his peak was still much higher than many of the young players that come through today. He's played with Zlatan Ibrahimovic before, so I'm definitely playing off the chemistry. He is unbelievable. He is the only Milan player that I remember watching scoring with ease, left foot, right foot, headers. People forget how good he was at heading because he was so young. Could curl it, could power it. Gave me the duck, Alexandre Pato, to pair with
that
Ibra
is
up
yeah.
top.
That's a very good pick. I believe he had 50 Serie A goals before the age of 22 or something like that.
That's crazy. That is actually wild.
That's a stat. I think that's a stat, but I'm not exactly sure. But at least, yeah, he was one of those that I shouldn't say the one that got away, but had he been healthy, I think he would have made Brazil, the national team, a lot better than it was.
Yes.
You know, even like
at that time they needed someone like him. Exactly.
Mid 2010s, yeah. And I shouldn't say we struggled, but you know, after Ibra left, after Rubinho died down, we didn't have a striker until Ibra came back, and then we got Giroud.
Yeah.
It was diabolical stretch of strikers, and Pato would have filled that role perfectly.
Yeah, and I mean, we hear Milan, the greats of Milan that were on the way out, talking all the time how in training he was just a monster, and people were like, he's so quick, but the ball stays attached to his foot. And then, you know, you associate this player with like, the finesse, stuff like that. But he could shoot rockets. He had almost that like Brazilian Adriano feature of him. He could just, absolutely rockets. Okay, then it is Colin's turn again. Let me put you on the big screen. Shave up top, Gattuso in the midfield. Nesta and Thiago Silva, your center back pairing. What's next?
Yes, sir. So I'm going to go with the player that, if I'm being completely honest, I've almost never watched in real life. I only moved to Europe in 2005, and this man left Milan in 2006, so that might give it away who I might be picking. But I'm thinking about my formations in my mind, and I'm looking at Rui Costa, a baller in my team, and I feel like I might be missing a little bit of creativity with Kaká already off the board. And Shevchenko might not be that sort of creative, dynamic center forward. Rui Costa, from the YouTube videos and the things that I've watched, seemed like a baller, and that's who I'm going with.
Yeah, I think that's a very good pick. I should say criminally underrated, but you know he came into Milan on, I think it was a record-breaking fee. He was very, very expensive early 2000s from Fiorentina. and the only the reason I guess he left in 2006 was purely because Kaká had that uh, incredible run of of years there before he won the Ballon d'Or, and there was no place really for Rui Costa to be in the starting 11, which gave us great depth. So that's a great pick.
Yeah, but he was Kaká before Kaká.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Won us some trophies. Played with Sheva, so again, good chemistry. No, as in the chats, I see it. Nephew pick. I love it. I love it. Proper football knowledge pick. Can't go wrong.
yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
All right, two picks
Ozzy.
again. Lovely.
Big screen. You have Inzaghi up top, Kaká and Seedorf somewhere in the midfield. We'll figure out as you pick later on, and Cafu
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said before my last pick, Cafu was a bit more offensive. I mean, he did his defensive duties for sure, but I'm gonna have to look at a center back here because they're being picked off very quickly. You guys did pick my top three. Top three of the top four, and I'm gonna go for somebody that perhaps not for everyone is well known. I think he might have the most appearances for AC Milan, and he was, I shouldn't say overlooked when the Nestas, that was towards the end of his career, but Baresi and Maldini, but I believe he did still play until like 2005. So I'm going to go for Billy Costa Curta in center back position.
Great pick.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he was in that back four with Maldini on the left, Baresi, and Costa Curta in the center when we conceded very few goals, and I believe we went undefeated in 1991 and 92.
Yep.
It's one of those invincibles, nobody ever really speaks about outside of the Premier League with Arsenal and their invincible run, but we went invincible. Nobody talks about that.
Thank you.
I think it was Juve is the only other team that's ever done it in the Serie A, and I'm very happy with Costa Curta to be one of my centre backs.
Yeah, I mean,
Do I
Costa
go
Curta,
yeah.
just a couple words because I love the man. Kind of like Rui Costa, he was, Maldini before Maldini. Crossed those two generations. His ability to, again, football IQ, kind of like Inzaghi, where you're like, he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, he's not the best defender, he's not Van Dijk, but ability to control the whole line. I remember watching back, because I wasn't alive, but a game at the Bernabeu where we just played offside trap and we got him like 15, 20 times, and at the end everyone was just clapping because they're just like moving at the same time perfectly, and they get us every time. So great pick.
Yeah.
Now let me put you back on the big screen and go on with your next pick.
So obviously the screen shows a 4-4-2, but I might change that slightly later. So he technically isn't a winger, and I'm looking again with Colin's Gattuso pick. I need to have someone that's a bit more stable in center midfield and have maybe Kaká move to a more forward role. And I'm gonna go with Ambrosini.
Great pick.
Again,
That was gonna be my
played.
pick.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
too.
he played for Milan. I think his whole life, apart from one season at the very end where he joined Fiorentina. But yeah, solid, very solid center midfielder. He scored some goals. He could play somewhat defensively. He's now on the panel for DAZN, and where we get to hear his footballing mind. Just your stereotypical early 2000s, mid 2000s Italian center midfielder that brings balance to pretty much any team.
Yeah, I heard Colin say that it was going to be next pick. Yeah, I was considering going between him and Pato already last time. Yeah, I love Ambro. Again, one of those like Gattuso that was featured in all those Champions League runs for a very good reason. Brings great size, obviously, always a great header. Yes, that would have been a great pairing also with Pirlo also for chemistry, but alas, it is off the board. Now it goes back to Colin. I was about to make the same mistake again.
Sure. Now I'm worried about the center mids all being taken off the board, so I think that changes my next pick here. I believe for the next player that I'm going to pick, did not spend the longest time at Milan. He's a current Premier League star after taking a long pause for off the field issues. But if I'm thinking balance of a team, I think he can do a little bit of everything. A prime number 6. I'm going with Sandro Tonali. I think he's gotten better at Newcastle. But I think for Milan in those years where the team was struggling a little bit, I think he was very, very, very good. Good for Italy, and we'll get goals, we'll get tackles, interceptions, assists. He'll do it all. So I'm gonna add him.
Great pick. Still hurts. It's one of those that you feel like as a Milan fan he'll be back just because he's loved the club ever since he was a kid. Look, you pair him and Gattuso and Rui Costa. It feels like a great mix of running, great mix of muscle, great mix of good feet. Yeah, great pick. All right, now I can put myself up. I got some thinking to do here. So, Pato and Ibra probably complete my strikers unless I'm gonna get a little bit creative. Maldini and Stam still holding down the defense. That's solid. And Pirlo looking very lonely out there in midfield. Tonali's off the board. So is Ambrosini. This means we need to get a little bit creative. I do want some muscle, those dogs that Colin was referencing in the midfield. And this leaves a few names. A couple that you wouldn't necessarily think, I think, that played at Milan, but came and played very well. For this, give me another Dutch player. A Dutch player.
Oh,
I know.
ooh,
People don't think he played at
okay,
Milan, but he played at Milan. He won a Scudetto, or multiple
true.
maybe. And once again, severely underrated baller. Give me Van Bommel.
I was picking between Ambrosini and Van Bommel. I think he had his prime. He had his prime at Bayern, but when he came into that AC Milan team with Allegri, 2010, I think, definitely gave us a lot more depth, and he played a lot for us actually.
Yeah, people forget, and also because then he carried on to the to some of the bad teams, but very solid. He did very well in Champions League. Did very well in Serie A. So that's my Pirlo protection.
It wasn't going to be Nigel de Jong, was it?
The other one, look, he was in there. He was in there. My thought, honestly, yes, it was gonna be him, and maybe there was another guy that I wouldn't necessarily say. But De Jong was an absolute dog, but undersized. You never felt it because of how he played, and he played bigger than he is, kind of like a Cannavaro. But with Pirlo, as I said, on the defensive side, you can see with my pick with Stam, yeah, I like some size in Van Bommel. Not that he's huge, but less undersized. Win some of those headers on those long balls. We're gonna play a lot of long balls in this team with Ibra, with Van Bommel, with Stam. Trust. All right, back-to-back picks. Now there's not many spots left, so you can kind of go in different directions. This is where I think being Colin really helps because you're never too in between different picks. Oof. Oof.
I want Laxalt from Nystad. That's
Laxalt, yeah. Kevin Constant, absolute baller. It's difficult. It's very difficult. There are several good players. They're also. That midfield, Van Bommel could play the ball, but maybe it could use some more ball players, some more quality. And look, maybe I follow the Oscar way and say, "Ooh, this is tough.
what is the Oscar?
The Oscar way is to pick your favorite players. Like at some point, stop trying to make the perfect team and just say, "Look, I love this guy." No, I don't go with that. This is really tough. Okay, I think I pick my and maybe this will be controversial. Give me a football genius. I think we were discussing if one of my players on the team was ever better than him. And he's definitely 40, but he's been in these 5 games for Milan. Or how many games did we play, Ozzy? 5, 6
I think
this season.
he's featured in 7, maybe 6 or 7 with the Coppa Italia.
He's been the best player for us in almost all his games. He's been the best player in Serie A, according to many. Give me Luka Modric to pair with the footballing genius of Andrea Pirlo. And yeah, I mean, as I said,
But
I got the muscles and the defense and the back and Van Bommel. So give me some players that just play football. And this way we can play 4-3-3, stick with a 4-2-2, and put someone on the side if I need to, or maybe play a little diamond. We love a diamond. If you're a Milan fan, you have to love the diamond. Yeah, I mean, you got those two registas. Usually a team maybe lines up and man marks and sends 2 players or one of them. But then you got Pirlo and Modric to deal with. Good luck. I'm happy with my pick. All right.
pretty good pick.
Yep.
Back to Colin. You have Shev up top, midfield of currently Rui Costa, Gattuso, Tonali, and Thiago Silva and Nesta at center back. Who's next?
This is where I think things get interesting. I can go a few different ways here. I think I have a thought that I feel like will not get picked yet, so I'm going to keep him for later. I think I want to figure out one more attacking player that gives me some flexibility on a formation later on. This is a current Milan player that I do believe doesn't get the respect he deserves from the world. He's second fiddle of the national team to some legends. I think Rafael is gonna finish my creativity. I think on his day he's almost unplayable. I'm not sure he's on his day all that much, but I think when he is, you see him, he's taking people on, he's shooting from range, he's creating, he's doing everything. And I want to give him the creative freedom to do that in my squad.
I can argue with that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. He does offer you that flexibility. We see him play now as a striker. Started off his career as a striker in the under 19s in Portugal. Obviously, he can play left wing very well, as we've seen him. Serie A MVP, Scudetto winner, Champions League semi-finalist. Yeah, can't be argued. It was definitely one of the names I was just thinking about with my previous pick. All right, Ozzy, back to you. Let me put you on the big screen.
Back to me.
You have Inzaghi up top, Ambrosini, Kaká, Seedorf, Costa Curta and Cafu at the back, and back-to-back picks. Who's next?
Yes, so now I'm thinking the center backs have gone the really good ones. I feel like now we're picking perhaps not the best of the center backs.
Mm-hmm. The cream of the crop, yeah.
Yes, somebody again in these great mid 2000 teams was, I shouldn't say overlooked, but he played his part definitely. He is nowadays a politician, and he comes from a country that's not very well known, from the creators of wine, I believe, and it's gonna be Kaladze.
Excellent pick. Excellent.
And I'm gonna be playing him at center back most likely.
Yeah, another one that kind of gives you flexibility.
Yeah.
So let me put him. He's
an absolute unit as well. Looked like he wanted to kill anyone on the pitch, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he paired very well with your Costa Curta, your Maldini's, played a lot with Nesta, was able to play as a fullback, as a center back. Yeah, I love it. It's definitely on my list. Definitely underrated. I do believe that was your first pick, right? So you have another one?
I have another one.
All right, let me put you back in.
Look at my I'm trying to think.
You've got one, again, the formation we can change, but one striker or one forward, one spot in midfield. With Cafu, you probably want another fullback, unless you want to get real wild, and then keep.
No, I'm not going to be that wild and have 3 at the back. Where do I go from here? I'm gonna have a bit more of a holding midfielder, and His last few years at Milan weren't that great, to be honest. But I think during the Scudetto season, he was very, very good. The most recent one. I'm gonna go for Benacer.
Oh, okay. I was nodding along as I thought for sure. I knew we were going, but then you took a turn. Okay, Ismail Benacer. How do you think he
Yes,
pairs with the rest of your team?
I think he pairs pretty well. Because then I can move Seedorf up a bit, and I can move Kaká even to a more striker role.
Okay. Oh, a little
Yeah.
Albero Di Natale. 4-3-2-1. If you're a Milan fan, you gotta love a little Christmas tree formation. Okay. Very, very interesting. This is getting spicy now with the last few picks. It is Colin's turn again. You got Sheva and Rafa Leao up top. Midfield, Tonali Gattuso, Rui Costa. And just two center backs in the defense, which is Nesta and Thiago Silva. Who's next?
Okay. I have a few different options that I'm thinking of still. But I think no one yet has spoken about the importance of goalkeepers. And I can only name three who I think are good enough to be in the conversation here. And one of them is not like the others. I think this is a divisive pick for Milan fans.
Okay.
The way he left the club is not, the best. But I think the amount of games he played at his age, the quality that he was playing international football by the time he was, 17? He's made at least 100 appearances for Milan. I'm going with Donnarumma. He's got the size. He's got the ball saving ability. I don't care about a keeper who uses his feet. I think that's overrated in today's game. If he can save the ball, if he can parry it away, he's done his job, right? And
Absolutely.
I think Donnarumma is one of the best in the world at that, and was even at Milan.
Yeah, tough to argue. Euro winner. Um, did great with us. Won in France. Champions League winner. We'll see
Put
how.
Saka in his pocket every time he plays him.
Yeah,
That always helps me too.
great penalty saver anyway. Is prone to some mistakes here and there, but we'll see how his career at City goes. He does love does love the money. So give me 4 years, and I bet he'll come to my club for free on a fat agent fee. But we'll discuss that later on. No, good pick. First goalkeeper off the board. Was wondering
Yeah,
how long that would take.
yeah, because I would have been happy with any of the three. But this Donnarumma was actually the last of my three,
Okay, I'm interested to see who
so
your
I'm very
third
happy with
is,
this.
because I don't have that many, but I have five, and I'm interested.
I mean, we can only pick one keeper, so
No. I
three is
know.
enough.
Yeah, but I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah.
Out of the two I know, and where they're gonna be. One was Donnarumma, and the other one is probably coming up soon. But yeah, we can talk about the honorable mentions later. All right, back to my turn. Right? No. Yes, my turn.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm losing track. Too
guy.
much talent going on in these drafts. Pato Nibra up top. Pirlo, Van Bommel, Modric, Maldini, and Stam. Well, you can go many different directions in that midfield, and there's some interesting names. Let me quickly have a look at your drafts. You have Ozzy's down in midfielder and Colin has one midfield. So I feel like I'll save that midfield spot. I can think of two players at least that can take it. So I have two picks. One is gonna have to be a goalkeeper, so let's just get that out of the way. I will take our current goalkeeper, Mike Maignan, French national. I think on his day has done some mistakes like Donnarumma, but on his best season he's saved us many games. We saw against Juve. Colin, I don't know if you saw this. I know Oscar has, of course, pull off an early candidate for save of the year on Gatti. Can play with his feet. I kind of agree with Colin that aspect of the game can be overrated. But once you have it, it's really nice. He's gotten a couple, at least, assists for Milan during his time. So give me Mike Maignan. All right. That's out the way. And now we got to address this defense. We got maybe one center back if Maldini stays a left back. Otherwise, two fullbacks. But either way, we definitely need a right back. I believe, let me quickly look. Colin doesn't have one, and Oscar took Cafu. Honestly, there's a few good right backs. So that makes me think that yes, there's 3 that I'd be happy with. So I'm gonna look at a center back instead, or maybe a left back, and I put Maldini at center back. Let me see. Yeah. I mean Maldini Stam. That's rock solid. I'm gonna put a left back in this team. A left back that his prime at Milan was rather short, but not forgotten. His head might be a little bit complex to deal with at times, but this man has scored and assisted a lot. He now plays in Saudi Arabia, unfortunately. Give me the train, Theo Hernandez. Yeah, I mean, let me swap him with Maldini right here. I feel like Maldini, it's fair to put him at center back. Him and Stammer, great mix of quality, speed versus size. You have Theo, who, especially in his later part of his Milan career, was getting really good at defending, not only going forward. He always had that. He always had the speed. He always had the goals, even penalties. But he played a handful of games when we had very big injury trouble at center back and did well. So I just feel like he gels very well, and yeah, happy with that.
Good pick.
Yep.
All right, then. Final stages. Colin, put you back on the screen. 3 picks left.
Yes.
Who you got?
I have. Let me think. Not playing with that formation, so it's throwing me off a little bit. But
What formation do you have in mind?
4-3-2-1. Christmas tree.
Oh,
OG
yes,
Milan.
he's a Milan fan at heart.
That's what I've been building.
All right.
And I feel like I need to address my right wing. I think I can pigeonhole the rest. I'm going with another current Milan player, and this is definitely my bias showing. But I do think in the last 2 seasons he has been elite. I think his playmaking ability is underrated. He works his socks off every game in a squad or a team that I've built that might not have the most workers other than maybe Gattuso. Christian Pulisic will get you goals. He will get you a 7 out of 10 every week. He can take people on, both footed, scores, assists. I like him. I love him actually, and he will be my right attacking mid because he's also a little bit flexible on where he can play in this sort of formation.
Fair enough. Serie A player of the month. He's been getting 15 goals and assists like it's nothing for us each season in and out. As you said, sometimes has incredible games, but he never has a bad game. You gotta love him. Question for you as I throw you up so you can see the formation. You sure you want a 4-3-2-1 and not a 4-2-3-1?
It's all the same.
It's all the same. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Because yeah, Pulisic can switch like this, but we'll see once it's all said and done.
Yeah.
That brings us to Oscar, who has, I believe, 3 picks also left. Yes.
Yes.
But has back-to-back, so he's almost gonna complete his team. We need 1 striker and 1 defender.
1 striker and 1 defender.
Unless you put Kaká up front and then maybe another midfielder, of course.
Yes. You can already put it into a 4-3-1-2 maybe, just so I can have a visualization and have
4-3-1-2.
Yeah. Yes, perfect. All right. Well, I'm sorted for goalkeeper. I don't really need to pick one because you guys have picked yours. So I'm gonna go with. He's more of a 10. And I think I kind of slated him once on this podcast, a couple of podcasts ago. Not slated, but said he wasn't as good as I thought. I'm going to go with Rivaldo.
Ooh.
To pair up with Inzaghi.
Very good. Very good.
Ballon d'Or winner, not with Milan, of course, but he had, was it 2 seasons? Played well, rocked that golden number 11 on the back. Yeah, doesn't really speak for itself, and has that connection with Kaká being Brazilian. And therefore, which is a segue into my second to last pick, which is the left back role, and it's going to be Serginho.
Great pick.
I'm going to have another Brazilian, two Brazilian fullbacks I like to go forward, but with Costa Curta and Kaladze, I think I'm quite sorted, and eventually with my goalkeeper pick. Again, criminally underrated maybe, but he has scored some very good goals for Milan, including a goal in that 6-0 defeat, 6-0 win against Inter.
Historic,
back in the day.
Of course. Yeah.
Historic.
I mean, that's very solid going for a Brazilian team. Just catching up on the chat quickly. Would have bet the house on Colin picking Captain America. Of course, it feels like Ibra should have went to Oscar, but Christian Pulisic definitely goes to Colin. Liza Kais, I too love Pulisic, so great pick. And some love for the Serginho pick. Also some hate on Benacer. Benacer in that team is the clown behind the soldiers meme. Look, agreed that you need to take Benacer for his very season and a half. But in that run, he was unbelievable, so I back it.
Because that's what we're doing, right? Because otherwise, I wouldn't have picked Benacer. Okay,
peak,
good. Peak.
All right, then back to Colin for your second to last pick.
Sure, and if my calculations are right, it's a left back and a right back.
Unless you want to go three at the back.
I really don't. I think we're all done with the center backs. I can say who my fourth choice was here, and it was Bonera, who I don't think would fit any of these teams. So my left back and my right back. I have a left back, and I think it's a nostalgia pick for my PES 2006 career mode team.
Okay.
I don't actually think he's that good, but somehow he kept showing up in all of the teams. He played a lot, and this is Marek Jankulovski at left back.
Yes, good choice.
Just there, and I liked his name, and I always played him up top because I did not understand formations in PES 2006, so he was my striker. So I'm going to pick him at left back, obviously.
You're a PES man.
I was until my cousin took my PES 2006 and ripped it out of the PSP disc, and then I cried.
Yeah, no, I would have cried that too.
Oh, sorry to bring that up. Apologies.
Yeah, what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to bring a guest in and he's now going to cry over childhood trauma?
You chose Ibrahimovic. I'm not going to speak to you. But...
Fair. No, very solid pick. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Theo, I definitely would have thought of Serginho or Jankulovski on the left. Can't argue with that. Okay, then it's me. Let me put myself on the big screen, and I have back-to-back picks. So with this, I'm finishing off my team. Ooh, as I said, a right back. There were a few options. Colin still needs to fill his. Ozzy went with Cafu. So, well, I'm just gonna say names because, well, I guess maybe Colin could think of. Give me a man that played for two big teams in Italy. Give me a man that won the World Cup in 2006 with Italy. Scored in the World Cup. Played a big role. Hit a couple bars and post, even against Germany. Give me Zambrotta. Let's see if he pops up. Ooh, he does. Yes. Engine. Incredible right foot. Could cross, could shoot. Just rockets. Still got the good old 90s Italian mentality. So you know he's going to defend well. I'm looking at that defense and I'm thinking everyone can do everything. I'm feeling very, very confident. We can talk about who else could have been my pick. And then to finish off in midfield, to pair up with Van Bommel, Modric, and Pirlo. Give me... I kind of want to go like old for the memes, but give me someone who I would take back at Milan right now. Someone who took the Theo Hernandez road. Someone who played with Theo Hernandez. Someone who I thought Ozzy was referring to before picking Benacer. Scudetto winner In fact,
Ah.
scored a goal to give us the Scudetto on the last day. Brings a physicality, but also cold from the penalty spot. Give me Frank the Tank Kissy.
Solid pick. Yeah, I think we'd take him. Would we take him back with our midfield now? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, now his position is
yeah.
filled. But as we were looking this up, what did we say? How old he is? Is he right now?
He's only 28.
Yeah, 28, and obviously he's making too much money for anyone in Italy to afford him. But you're like, oh, okay, he went to Saudi and a couple of years ago. He must, he must be old. And you're like, oh man, he's 28, he's in his prime.
Yeah.
Quickly catching up with the chat, waiting to hear Giroud's name. He could have popped up. You give an extra person doing a draft, and I think his name would come up. And yeah, I mean, let me just rearrange the team, put me back on the screen, because I need to figure out the best formation. I think it has to be a diamond shape. So give me a 4-3-1-2, I guess, where Pirlo maybe plays like it, and then we move him around. Modric plays like here, and then we'll move around. But I'll live with that. We can walk through our teams and explain them later. It is time now for Colin's final pick.
Sure. So I've left right back for last. Position I played most playing football, and the least important position on the pitch. I'm going to go with another player who I spent a lot of time playing video games with. I'm going to go with Abate, purely for his pace. And I think Calabria just isn't that good. So,
I was worried. I thought you talked about Calabria. I'm like, oh my god, surely not Colin.
Serginho Dest, I like him for the memes, but he's a very bad footballer, so I'm not going to pick him. And I am going to change my formation, but these are my players. Yeah, 4-2-3-1 is what I'm going to do.
Okay, very solid. We'll take the final review of the team in a second, but first we need to get Ozzy to make his final pick. Should be fairly straightforward one. This is the wrong.
Yeah, it's probably the most straightforward one out of all of them now. Which I'm saying that Donnarumma is good, Mignon is good, but I was surprised that nobody took Dida first, and Dida is going to be my pick. Double Champions League winner, Scudetto winner, World Cup winner, all at his time at AC Milan. Had a very comical dive or two. Got hit by Flair against Celtic. The man had it all. And also, when I was very young, when I was like 7 or 8, I wanted to have his lightning bolt shaved into my head.
Yes,
but
right here.
Obviously, having very blonde hair and a very white skull, it wouldn't really have been that visible. So I never got it.
Yeah.
Do it now.
I thought the same.
Do it now. Yeah, I used to have a buzz cut when I was like 7, so.
Dye your hair and then do it.
True.
I had some questionable haircuts.
Me too.
Oscar, for those of you watching, this is how much of a football sicko he is. For Roberto Baggio rocked the little rat tail like Baggio did. So never question the football dedication and knowledge of this podcast, the best football podcast on the internet. A lot of Brazilians. I think then we do a quick round. All of us just kind of walk into a team, explaining it very quickly, just a couple seconds. As I had the first pick, I'll go first. This is my team. I have Ibrahim Pato up top. The midfield will definitely be, moving around a little bit. Pirlo will be able to move freely, and so will Luka Modric, and so will Van Bommel. So the shape is a diamond, but it's a loose diamond. I love my mix of muscle and defensive coverage that Van Bommel and Kessie bring. I love, obviously, the tactical masterminds and the pure quality that Pirlo and Modric bring. And in the back, maybe I need to fully see back your defenses, but I would argue that anyone will have a tough time top this. I have Teo Hernandez, Maldini, Stam, and Zambrotta, all defending Mike Magnan, who might not have much to do with this defense. Very happy with that. And now I pass it over to Colin to explain his team.
Sure. So as I said, I'm now going to go with a 4-2-3-1. I don't think Rui Costa can play the amount of center mid that I was wanting him to play, so we're just going to push him up further, and I think that's just as good. I'll start with the back instead of starting with the front. I think Nesta and Thiago Silva is just an elite center back combo. There's no Maldini, but he went first overall. So what am I going to do? I think Donnarumma, Abate, and Yankulovsky, rounded out together. They're not going to bomb up, get out of position. They're going to, play a good defensive game. I think Gattuso is just going to destroy the midfield. He's going to be a pest. He's going to foul. He's going to break up play, do a lot of running that the other players and other teams honestly might not do. Tonali, Rui Costa, they're gonna create. They're gonna bring the ball forward. Pulisic, Rafa Leao, and Shevchenko, they're just gonna, let them cook, as they say. Give them the creativity, give them the freedom to run behind these older center backs that some of us might have if they're in their prime, and just create and hopefully score a lot of goals.
Very fair, very fair. Looking good. Yeah, the more I look at it, the better it looks. And now, last but not least, Oscar, walk us through your
Yes.
your side.
Yeah, it's going to be a team of Joga Bonito, essentially. You've got probably, I think, out of all our teams, the team with the best touch, if that makes sense. I'm maybe not so happy with the Benacer and Kaladze picks, but Benacer could intercept anything when he was at his peak during the Scudetto winning season. Costa Curta is a legend, and Dida might have his work cut out for him, but that's why I'm happy with having Dida. Two Brazilian fullbacks. They're just going to be bombing it forward. So we're going to win every game like 7-5. That midfield, Seedorf will be playing probably a bit higher up maybe. Ambrosini is just a good balance in midfield. Rivaldo, Kaká, Seedorf linking up. Inzaghi will just going to be having to stand on the penalty spot and the ball will come to him regardless. And he's just going to toe tap them in on a deflection.
Yeah, hard to argue. I'm seeing Flamini for Benacer and this team wins. No, very fair. Now, if we put our objective hat on, do you guys feel that your team is the best, or does anyone like
Absolutely
someone else?
I like my squad. I feel like it's balanced.
Yeah, I like Colin's pace and creativity. You have Leao, Pulisic, Shevak, Rui Costa. Can create a lot. Yeah, Aussie's midfield is very solid. Yeah, maybe the Benacer could go bad. The defense isn't the best. I love my defense. But also, Ibrahim Pato can go wrong. Of course, you the viewers, we're going to cycle over Colin's face the formations right now. So this is mine. This is Colin's. And last but not least, this is Oscar's. You let us know who you think you won. Especially if these teams were to play 11 against 11. Let us know who else you would have picked. Before we close out, let's go through some honorable mention. I think in goal, the other names that are on my list were Rossi, but then you need to be a Rolls, Milan Secco, and Abbiati, Milan legend,
Abbiati, yeah.
who won a lot. Any other names that you guys thought could go? That maybe didn't call
At right back, I had Odo as well.
Although that was the one
for that sort of 2 seasons, he was probably very good. I'm looking at my centre backs. I had Tomori, Romagnoli, and Nexes as my next one. So luckily, I didn't have to go for them. Yeah. While Tomori at his height was good, but not excellent.
Yes,
not
like any of the players and Romagnoli. Yeah.
If I had to pick another striker, I would have gone with Gilardino. I think give me the big man up top to pair off a more mobile striker. Win headers, get the dirty goals. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I think the next sort of category of strikers was pretty rich. Step down from the ones we picked, but you had your Gilardinos, you had your Balotellis, you have your Giroud, who was mentioned, even Higuain
Ronaldinho as well.
Yeah, Ronaldinho, who I strongly considered, because again underrated when he played for Milan. Thomasson, you have your Crespo, your Vieris.
Crespo.
Yeah. All people that have won a lot with us. I think there was a few interesting players that were like wingers or cams. Robinho could have maybe had a shout. Kevin Prince Boateng could have maybe had a shout. Suso, again playing in the Bandiera, so people forget, but a lot of times we get the ball to him, a winger with no pace, and he still made things happen. Menetz.
El Shaarawy.
Menetz could get that shout. El Shaarawy, yeah. Boban if you go a little bit more back. Otherwise, that's it. The midfielders, there was a lot of, I think, interesting one. I think the young we mentioned could have got a shout. Emerson, another kind of Cafu pick that came from Roma, but he played with us, and I have fond memories of him. David Beckham.
Emerson Royale.
No, Emerson Royale did not play for us. I refuse to admit that he ever did. David Beckham, before he tore his Achilles, honestly played well. Albertini, I think, may have made like a 2000 squad. Otherwise, your Nocerinos, your Montolivos, Flamini was mentioned by Niche Dog in the chat. Yeah, that's all the ones I have on my list. I don't think we left out too much talent. And from the current squad, maybe that was, or thinking, yeah, Tomori could maybe, if you take his Scudetto season. Yeah, otherwise, it's that. Maybe some midfielders. We'll see how we turn out. But we'll post these obviously on our stories. We'll get some feedback there. I want to thank both of you for taking the time to do this. I don't know if you're as sick as I am, but that was actually a lot of fun. We need to come up with some more formats like this. Chat, last few things from the chat. On paper, I think Stefano's team is the best, but don't think it wins in an actual match. Okay, very, very, very interesting. Could be. And we did say that we wanted to kind of pair them up in an 11 versus 11. Boys, thank you very much. If someone made it this far into this video, and now we're into a draft of us trying to pick between Bonera and Kaladze and Abate and Oddo, you're a trooper. Leave a like, drop a comment, tell us what your draft would be, and thank you very much. Forza Milan.
Yeah. Thank you for having
Forza
me.
Milan.
Forza Milan.